Today's lesson is on converting rates using dimensional analysis. So first you'll be given a rate, and in this case the rate you are given is 25 yards in an hour. So you'll take that rate and you'll write it as a ratio. So we'll do 25 yards in 1 hour. Now it's important when you do this to label your units within your ratio, and you'll see why in just a minute. So the question is asking how many feet per hour is this? So at this point it's important to have a necessary piece of information. So you'll need to know how many feet are in a yard, because you're going to be changing feet to yards or yards to feet. So there are 3 feet in 1 yard. So once you know that, you're going to take that piece of information and you are going to write a new ratio. So you have two choices here. You can either write that as 3 feet in 1 yard, or you can write it as 1 yard in 3 feet. The Whoops. Let me fix that here. Hold on. So the question is, which choice is the right choice? And I will answer that for you. So what we're going to be doing next is multiplying the ratios. And the goal here is to change your yards into feet. So you want the setup that allows you to cancel out your yards. Or in other words, you want your yards to be opposite each other, one in the numerator and one in the denominator. So you can see in this first setup, we have a yard in the numerator and a yard in the denominator. This is going to work the way we need it to, because the yard divided by a yard is just 1. Anything divided by itself is just 1. And so they kind of disappear because you end up with a 1, and anything times 1 is just itself. Here, the yards are in the same place in the ratio. They're both numerators, and that's not going to help us. We'll have yards times yards, and they won't cancel each other out. So we do not want to use this setup. We want to use the setup that has a yard in the numerator and a yard in the denominator. So this is the setup we're looking for. So we're ready to go. Our yards are going to cancel our yards, and they're gone. And so you'll see that what we're left with in the ratio is feet and hours, which is exactly what we wanted, how many feet per hour. So 25 times 3 is 75, and 1 times 1 is 1. So, and we need our units, so we'll take over the feet. So we have 75 feet per hour, or 75 feet in 1 hour. So 25 yards in 1 hour is equivalent to 75 feet per hour. Let's try another one. So 100 inches per second, how many feet per second is this? So we're going to take our 100 inches per second, so that's 1 second, and we want to know how many feet per second that is. So just like in the last question, there's something we're going to be changing. We're going to be changing inches to feet. So before moving on, we need to know how many inches there are in a foot. And so that piece of information I'll write off to the side. There are 12 inches in 1 foot. So we have two choices. We have to set this up correctly. So, excuse me, we're trying to cancel out our inches. So we want to make sure we set up this ratio with inches as the denominator. So 12 inches is the denominator, and we'll put the feet in the numerator. So this is going to work out because inches will cancel inches, and we will be left with feet per second. So when we multiply 100 times 1, we get 100 feet in 12 seconds. Now this one is going to have us doing some more math because we want to know how many feet per second this is. And right now we know there's 100 feet in 12 seconds. So we're going to need to divide by 12 to get the unit rate. And when I do that, I get there are 8.3 repeated feet in 1 second. So 100 inches per second is equivalent to approximately 8 3/10 feet per second. This next question, there are 65 drips per day. How many drips per hour? So again, we're going to take our original ratio, our original piece of information, and make it a ratio. So 65 drips per day. So we're probably talking about a faucet here. Per day means 1 day. How many drips per hour? So again, we need to know how many, we're changing days to hours. So we need to know how many hours are in a day. And there are 24 hours in 1 day. So the question is, how do we set up this ratio? So remember, we're changing days to hours. So we're trying to cancel out our days. So we need days to be opposite days. So our days are in the denominator here. We need them in the numerator here. So we're going to do our 1 day as a numerator and our 24 hours as the denominator. So our days will cancel our days. And 65 times 1 is 65 drips. And 1 times 24 is 24 hours. Now this isn't a unit rate. We need to know how many drips per hour, so we need a unit rate. So we're going to divide by 24 over 24 to get drips per hour. We need 1 hour. So 65 divided by 24 gives me 2 7/10 drips per hour. That is a slow dripping faucet. So we'll be doing more of these in class tomorrow. Hopefully this has given you a good idea of how to set up the second ratio to be successful here. And on this page, here's one for you to try on your own. 5,300 beats per hour. How many beats per minute? Give this one a try. See if you can do it. And we'll do this more in class tomorrow. Have a good day.